Before we start this challenge, I need to clarify that I hate myself and these challenges are a great outlet for these feelings, depending on the challenge. But my pain should be your enjoyment, that's why I am recording them for you to watch and hopefully find pleasure in the headache these games sometimes cause me. I might have stated before that my favorite way of dealing with enemies is by either setting them on fire or cutting their heads right clean off of their shoulders. In Cyberpunk 2077, quick hacks are also a fun way, and I love watching enemies vomit their organs out. But what if I had nothing of these things on my side? What if all I could do was punch? This was the very first request I got for this brand new, very old game. Can you beat Oblivion Remastered with only hand-to-hand combat? If this is your first time watching an Oblivion video and you're only used to Skyrim stuff, here is what you should know. Hand-to-hand is its own type of attacks in Oblivion. Just like blades or the destruction skill. You can level up and get better in it. Something that is not possible in Skyrim, where all you had was your base damage for unarmed combat, which wasn't great fun to play as. Only if you cheesed the game a bit and got a ring or gloves that increased your damage tenfold or more. And that enchantment exists exactly once in the whole base game. Well, enough about Skyrim and back to Oblivion. The build will be a hand-to-hand only character with the exception of using restoration spells from time to time. I'm also learning which books are skill books, so if you see stats leveled up for no reason, then it's because of a book I couldn't keep my nose out of. Well, okay, let's do this. I choose a Khajiit as my race, as they have the highest starting points in hand-to-hand, and I made her look beautiful. I was streaming this part of the challenge and people said that the lovely Minos looks more like an Aragonian than a Khajiit. Oh, also I called her Minos because I set all the sliders to -99. Which I think is very beautiful, but she looks like she got buccal fat removal. You know, this weird kind of plastic surgery, and got it transferred into her forehead. It's not a forehead anymore, it's a 5-head. I choose the birth sign of the thief to be the fastest on my feet in case shit goes fuck, and made a custom class called the Pest Kitten, with focus on combat, strength, speed, hand-to-hand, armorer, athletics, restoration, security, and sneak. Also, the Emperor died, and now we have to find Joffrey to give him the Amulet of Kings. This time around, I decided that I wouldn't waste much time doing side quests or guild thingies, so I made my way straight to Vion Priory. Okay, give this dude the amulet, and now we gotta find that bastard son of the Emperor. Off to Kvatch it is. Before I did that, I made a pit stop at the arena in the Imperial City, because there is a locked chest which contains the bands of Quang Lao, I hope I pronounced that right, a unique set of light bracers which increase the skill level of hand-to-hand combat by 20 points. And if you watch the two lads fighting close for a little bit, you get an extra 5 points permanently. So now my skill level is at 65, which is amazing for this early in the game. Honestly, at this point, I thought to myself, I am settled with this amount of knowledge in my hand-to-hand combat, but we'll see. The first big fight was ahead of us, closing the Oblivion Gate at Kvatch and saving the people trapped in the church. I cannot even tell you how funny this was. I went in there, punched everyone in the throat and then left. I also cheesed the sigil stone a bit, so I would get a fortified strength enchantment. To be fair, the very first enchantment I got was a chameleon one, but at this point I had decided I wouldn't want to cheese the illusion skill tree, so I reset it a few times until I had the enchantment that I wanted. Okay, Kvatch is safe, more or less, and now I was supposed to bring Martin back to the monastery, only for it to be attacked by assassins of a cult named the Mythic Dawn. These wankers stole the Amulet of Kings, which is not bueno, and now Martin is very high on their shit list, being with the Emperor blood. So we had to get him to a safe place, which was the Cloud Ruler Temple, a temple close to the border north to Skyrim. I wonder what the lore on that place is. Next on, we have to do something that a lot of people struggle with, reading and comprehending what is said in written words. Well, we gotta steal some books and get them to a nice lizard lady in Dear Khan University. But same difference. After finding Boros, one of the blades, in the Imperial City and killing his stalker and taking one of the books off of him, we gotta find the other 3. One is in the university. For the third one, I stole it from a book vendor and grilled the guy who wanted to buy it to the point of tears. The fourth one can be found in the sewage system. Wait a second. Why do cults and organizations like that always hide in the sewage system? That is something I have never understood. It is smelly, it is crampy, and all of it sucks. Why not a cave or a room hidden behind a bookcase or such? But well, thankfully games haven't implemented smell yet. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to play games such as Outlast or Resident Evil 7 anymore. Anyway, we crashed our party and got the 4th book. Our lizard friend had in the meanwhile cracked the code where the gang was hiding, which thankfully was a cave for once, so I made my way there to crack some skulls open. And cracking skulls open I did. Before the gatekeeper could even say something to me, I had his head punched so far down his own throat he could give himself a colonoscopy. And the stealth part of this challenge obviously failed. Also, at this point I raised the difficulty level up 1 by 1 because I was one punching enemies. And that was honestly not a lot of fun. During this challenge, I changed the difficulty a few more times to really get a hold on how difficult it really is. And how I could have the most fun for future runs. So yeah, I cleared out their hideout, their manager got away, and I actually managed to save the prisoner, which was nice and I didn't know you could do that. Next on, I bashed the skulls of 2 spies in. Nothing interesting to say about that mission, not gonna lie. And now we have to find a Daedric artifact and get it to Martin. Last time around I chose the Ring of Kashidi. But considering the fact that I'm still at level 1, I only had 2 options which were to spawn at level 2, Azura or Sheogorath. I'm going to be honest, if you choose to give away Azura's star, I will personally think that you are an absolute idiot and should be publicly shamed for your bad choices in life. I bet you also swipe right on every girl who vaguely resembles your mom, do you? So I choose Sheogorath to grab the Wabbajack, and Sheogorath quests. Well, you have to make a small village of Kashid believe that the end of the world is happening. I have to fulfill the Kishara prophecy. And I did that by attracting rats to the village by cooking such a pungent piece of cheese, Parthenax at the third of the world could probably still smell it. Once the villagers laid out rat poison, I had to grab that and kill the sheep in the village with it. Just a little side note, because I am a shithead, I killed the sheep before that. I even attempted to lure the rats in. Once these 2 things were done, Sheogorath let it rain dead dogs. So yeah, that quest was something and it had me laughing super hard. Thanks to quick saving and reloading, I used a few minutes of this run to figure out how the Wabbajack was working, but it wasn't working for some reason, so I just let it be. Since we were actually reaching the end of the main quest, I had to find allies for Bruma and help them close the gate just outside of Bruma. The gate was closed very quickly and the guards I had with me actually held up their weight for once in the fight, something that impressed me very much. For the allies, I only headed over to Shedenhall, closed the gate real quick and returned to the man in charge. Before the Battle of Bruma could happen, Martin had a task for me. I had to get hold of Tiber Septim's armor, something that's hidden deep inside a dungeon and had been for ages. Well, the problem was, at this point my hand-to-hand combat skills without the band was at 48. At 50, you are able to punch ghosts. What was the main type of enemies in this dungeon? Ghosts. So I ran away like a stupid coward, beat the unplayed deads within an inch of their lives, I guess, and ran away from the ghosts. The annoying part is, the ghosts of the blades took ages to get to their spots. And I couldn't forward time, cause my ass was constantly being haunted by the regular ghosts. So staying alive was a challenge all by itself. But in the end, Martin was able to receive what was his by birthright. And now I had to head to Miss Carkand for the Great Vulcan Stone. I'm honestly digging this type of dungeon, they always have great loot. In there, we also had a small boss fight against the king of Miss Carkand, but he turned into dust at the mere sight of my very impressive fisting. Okay, let's grab the Great Sigil Stone. Also, here, as you can see, once you are done with the battle outside, the Great Gate opens. You can just walk along the lava lake like this and get closer to the stone that way. That's why the whole quest was just super easy and a great moment of cheese in my eyes. And in Paradise, I actually did the things the way I had to. I let myself get lowered in lava, fistfight my way through the Daedric and other enemies, and Eldermail followed me to the battle against Mankar. I'm not sure why, but Mankar started to say a few words, went instantly hostile, and the boss battle started. My focus was on Mankar only, cause his minions die when he is dead, making them easier to get rid of. Sadly enough, Eldermail died there too, but he died for a good cause, which is mine. With that, all we had to do was light the dragonfires and make Martin the Emperor.
Too bad that the literal Daedric prince, Marunas Dagon, shows up to shit on our cake.
Martin transformed into a dragon, fights Marunas and defeats him. Martin turns into stone in a destroyed temple, and with this I can confirm that yes, you can beat Oblivion Remastered with only hand-to-hand combat. I said it before and I'll say it again. My favorite way of combat is the hardcore, very Uchi hurt way, where someone gets their head smashed in by something very heavy. This challenge was a great difference to Skyrim's hand-to-hand combat, and honestly, great fun. I like the signs and all the things you can do at the start of the game that helps you get further along with your skills. It makes focusing on a certain build much easier. I like it. And I'm really liking Oblivion. All in all, this challenge took me 4 hours to beat, which is on the faster side of a challenge run, and is basically as fast as my second fastest Skyrim run. Okay, that's it for today. My name is Rexy, and this was my video on beating Oblivion Remastered with only hand-to-hand combat. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!